All right, mathletes, here's our lesson on problem solving. So as we're problem solving here, this is typically dealing with word problems. We're going to want to try and follow these 5 steps. First step, decide on your unknown quality and allocate a variable such as x. Use whatever you want. Typically in math, we do choose x. Step 2, translate the problem to an equation. So take the information you have and try and generate an equation that should involve an equal sign and values on both sides. From then, step 3, solve the equation by isolating the variable. Okay, like we've been working on. Step 4, check that the solutions satisfy the original problem. Okay, and write the answer in sentence form describing how the solution relates to the original problem. Okay, so let's follow these steps here. Now in example 1. So first thing I like to do is I read it all the way through first once, and then I go ahead and start allocating my variables. Okay, so when a number is tripled and subtracted from 7, the result is negative 11. Find the number. So because I'm trying to find the number, I'm going to let x equal the number. Okay, from there, I see when a number is tripled. So a number tripled is 3x. Okay, corresponds to a tripled number. So that's tripled in British English. So a tripled number. Okay, and subtracted from 7. So subtracting from 7, I'm going to do 7 minus the tripled number. Okay, the result is, so it is equal to negative 11. Okay, so I'm done with step 2. Okay, I've translated the problem in the equation. Next, I am going to solve. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides, minus 7, and I get negative 3x is equal to negative 18. Divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3, and I'm going to get x is equal to 6. Okay, so once I have a solution there, I'm going to check my solution. So to check my solution, I'm going to do 3. So when a number is tripled and subtracted from 7, so when a number is tripled, so 3 times 8, and I'm going to subtract that from 7. Okay, well this is equal to 7 minus 20, oh, not 8, but 6. 3 times 6, so that's going to be 7 minus 18, and I see that this is equal to negative 11, verifying my solution, so putting it back in the context of the number, and I'm going to say 6 is the number. Since this story problem doesn't really relate to a real life situation, this sentence is fairly simple. Sentence has a punctuation at the end. All right, so example 2. Sometimes in these examples, creating a table is going to be useful in organizing our thoughts. Okay, so first read it through. Brittany has only 2 cents and 5-cent stamps. Their total value is $1.78. And there are 2 more 5-cent stamps than there are 2-cent stamps. How many 2-cent stamps are there? Again, I kind of highlight at the end how many 2-cent stamps are there. That's going to be my variable. So I'm going to let x equals 2-cent stamps. Okay, here. All right, so because I know their total value, okay, I want to know what the value I have in 2-cent stamps and the value I have in 5-cent stamps. Well, if x is the number of stamps, 2 times x tells me how much those values are. So if I have 10 of them, I'm going to have a value of 20 cents. Okay. Now for writing the number of 5-cent pieces I have, I'm getting from this information that there are 2 more 5-cent stamps than there are 2-cent stamps. So There are 2 more 5-cent stamps than there are 2-cent stamps. So if our X is our 2-cent stamps, 2-cent stamps, then plus 2 is going to be how many I have representing my 5 cents. Then, using the same logic, if this is X plus 2, the quantity I have of those times 5 is going to be its value. Okay? Well, I know that these put together are going to give me a value of 1.78. Okay? So I'm going to do 2x plus 5 times x plus 2 is equal to 178. Okay, because we're dealing with cents, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it without my decimal point there. Okay, so as I'm doing this, okay, now I'm going to solve my equation. So distribute, collect like terms, isolate my x, so subtract 10 from both sides, and I get 7x is equal to 168 divided by 7, divide by 7, and I get x is equal to 24. Okay. Well, again, I want to verify my answer and make sure it makes sense. Okay. So if I do 2 times 24, okay, I'm going to get 48 cents. Okay, so if I put this in decimal notation, I get that. Okay, in my 5-cent pieces, okay, I know that I'm going to have 2 more of those, so I'm going to have 26. Okay, and if I have 26 5-cent pieces, that's going to account for $1.30. Well, those added up together is 178. I've checked and verified my solution. So putting it into words, I have how many 2-cent stamps there are? There are 48 2-cent stamps. Okay. All right. One more example here, example 3. So again, you can see we're using a table to organize our values. Let's make sure we understand how we get this from our word problem. So I invest in oil shares which earn me 12 cents yearly, and in coal mining shares which earn me 10% yearly. If I invest $3,000 more in oil shares than in coal mining shares, and my total yearly earning amount is $910, how much do I invest in each type of share? Okay, so this is kind of a little bit more ambiguous what I'm going to decide my X to be. Okay, because I need to find out both values of share. So I'm just going to decide that I'm going to let coal equal X. Okay? And I know that if I invest $3,000 more in oil shares than in coal mining shares, that can be represented as X plus 3,000. That's how much I'm investing in oil. Okay? So I know I have an equation on earnings because it tells me how much I'm going to earn. Well, first I want to figure out what my earnings would be in coal. So that's going to be 10% of X, or equal to 0.1 times X. Okay? And my oil is 12%. So 12%, I remember, is equal to 0.12 of my total investment. So that's going to be 0.12 times X plus 3,000. Okay? So, and then I know the total is going to be 910. So those added up together is 910. So from that, I can go ahead and generate my equation. So I have my earnings from coal, so 0.1 x plus the earnings from my oil, which is going to be 0.12 times x plus 3,000. Okay, and all those earnings together needs to net me a profit of $910. Okay, so again, I want to, now that I have my equation generated, I want to go ahead and try and solve this. So I'm going to distribute. So I get 0.12x plus 0.12 times 3,000 is going to give me 360. Okay, is equal to 910. Okay, I'm going to collect my like terms, so I get 0.22x plus 360. And now solving for x and isolating the variable, I'm going to subtract 360. And I get 0.22x is equal to 550. Divide by 0.22. Divide by 0.22. And I'm going to get x is equal to 2,500. Okay, so I can verify my answers here by checking the solution. So if x is coal, 10% of 25,000, so 0.1 times 25,000 is going to be $250. Okay, and now I'm going to check for my oil, and my oil is 0.12, and I know I invested $3,000 more in that, so that's 5,500. Okay, and as I do 0.12 times 5,500, I get 660 as my earnings from oil. So if I add those up, I'm going to get 910 total dollars. Checked, verified my solution. So now I'm going to write my sentence that the money I invested in coal is $2,500, and the money invested in oil is 3,000 more than that, so that ended up being $5,500. Okay, so that would be my final answer there. That concludes our notes for tonight. Make sure you highlight any questions you have and bring them to class tomorrow.